Hello everyone! Today is such an exciting day! It's not your average Saturday because I am going to my local library book sale. That is massive and they have not had it since 2019, like before COVID. And I cannot imagine the donations and the books that they've stocked up since then. And I'm so excited. It's really crazy though because you used to not have to make like an appointment to go in, but now it's like exploding and everybody has found out about it. So my friend Ashley and I are gonna go. I got the first time slot at 10 a.m. There's gonna be like 75 other groups, but it's gonna be a freaking madhouse. This is the one time of year that I go absolutely nuts and do not hold back. So I'm hoping I could find some really good stuff. I don't really have anything in particular that I'm actually looking for, as far as I would really like to find Air of Fire by Sarah J Maas, because for some reason that book is like out of stock everywhere and I'm scared it's out of print right now. So I feel like if I get lucky, maybe, but she's so popular, I highly doubt I'm gonna find that, but I'm scared I'm never gonna be able to get a hold of it now, at least the hardback originals. And then I also want to look for like decorative old vintage books, and I don't know, I just think it would be really fun to decorate a portion of my living room with some bookends that just have some really pretty old books, especially blue or teal ones, or green. I know that sounds very specific, but I love those colors, so if I could find anything like that, hey, I will take it. So other than like your average adult fantasy, maybe some YA fantasy, mystery thrillers, just like my usual whatever I can find, I will take, because typically with my library book sale, they don't just sell like really old backlist titles that no one's ever heard of. They sell really good like book of the month hardbacks and newer-ish releases, so I have no doubt I'm gonna come away with like 20 books. Maybe. But there is going to be a book haul at the end of this video. You guys will be able to see what I find. I'm also going to try to get some footage while I'm in there, but it is so jam-packed. Like the aisles are super tiny, and like I said, there's people just like pulling stuff off the shelf left and right, and you only have 90 minutes to look through everything, which they said is plenty of time. They usually give you a big box at the door, but I actually am bringing my book of the month giant tote bag as well as a second tote bag because I think this one is just really cute and it gets me in the bookish mood, and also I am wearing my Fictophile bookish tee to get me in the mood and hopefully give me some good luck for finding some steals today. So I'm pretty sure that's all you need to know about this library sale. I am just very over the moon excited that I got one of the first time slots, that I actually checked my email so I knew that this was happening, and also that my friend Ashley is gonna come with me. She's never experienced this before and she's getting back into reading. She also really loves reading. She's not as hardcore a nerd as I am, but I'm excited to bring her along with me and kind of show her the ropes, and we're both just really excited to hang out and get some lunch after. It's just gonna be like a nice hangout kind of Saturday, so I'm very excited. But anyways, I've got my coffee for some fuel. I need to go inside and quickly grab a granola bar or something because obviously you gotta have some fuel when you're doing this kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But I'm here to take you along for the ride, so let's go see what we can find. video. Yes, it is a different day because when I got back on Saturday, I was exhausted. So much book browsing, it was hot, I had lunch, it was just the end of the week, and I was just super tired, so I was like, you know what? We're just gonna do this haul on a different day. It's totally fine. Let's just go ahead and dive into the books I picked up, and none of these books I will say I was expecting to find or pick up, but I'm really glad I did. Like I said at the beginning of this video, like I didn't really have any expectations or certain books that I was looking for other than Heir of Fire, which I did not find, but that's okay. I'll just buy it to complete the series. It's totally fine. But I did find some really cool books. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. One thing I did end up finding that I was so surprised about is these gorgeous teal vintage books. These are so fun, just like the old pages, and oh my gosh, I'm just so ecstatic that I actually found a color I was looking for. It's not really teal, I guess it's more of like a greenish, but these are going to be stunning on a bookshelf as like decoration. But also I found this pink one that I really like. It's kind of like a blush vintage pink, but what sold me on picking this up is the title is actually Home Before Dark, which obviously is not the actual Riley Sager book, but I just thought it was really comical and funny, and I have no clue what any of these books are about. I have not looked into them yet, but I need to figure out what's in these books, and I may end up actually reading them one day at some point in time, but I was just really happy that I found these. I'm hoping to find maybe like some more different shades of blue, maybe some forest greens to kind of put together in a stack with some bookends, maybe on a mantelpiece or just a side table or something like that, but super glad I found these. I think these were all $2 each if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, these were all $2 each. So not bad for a little vintage book haul because I don't actually own any vintage books, at least not right now, so happy to start my collection with these. And then the first book I found, which by the way, I will say the biggest disappointment when I went was the adult fantasy section was very slim. There was close to nothing and I was really sad. I don't know if they were just all older books or like, you know, those mass market paperbacks of like the same author, and it just, I don't know. I was really upset that there was not more adult fantasy because that's kind of what I wanted to find, but I guess they're more expensive or more popular. But what I did happen to snatch up for $1 is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. For obvious reasons, I mean, this is a super duper popular series, super duper popular book. It's in great condition. It's really not faded at all. There's no stains on the inside, and for $1, like, I just had to snatch it up. So I literally know nothing about this book. I think it has to do with like possibly like a stolen princess and maybe like this, I don't know if he's an assassin, a thief. I literally know nothing about this, but I think I first heard about this book from Reagan at Peruse Project, and I don't know, I just trust her a lot with my book recommendations, and I feel like everyone has read this at this point, and I would like to jump on the train. It did come out in 2007. Definitely is a little bit older, but it has stood the test of time as far as I'm concerned. I always see someone reading this, so very excited to jump in and see what this series is about. The next book I found that I was questioning if I should actually buy because I actually already have the paperback edition, but honestly I've always wanted the hardback series of these books because I just think they're so much better looking than like the paperbacks. So I decided to grab The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This was, again, only $1, and this is in perfect condition. I just think it's, I don't know, it's such a pretty book, and I've always wanted the hardback, but I think the hardback on Amazon is like possibly $20-something. But just another one of those fantasy or dystopian series that I've been wanting to start for such a long time. But I definitely remember why this sold me, because it talks about dream walkers or reading people's minds. Obviously, that just sounds fantastic, and I don't own like enough dystopian books on my shelves. I am very excited, very excited to get to this one. Honestly, this is probably the book that I was most excited that I was able to find. They were also selling ARCs, which I guess libraries are allowed to do that. I know typically like you're not supposed to sell ARCs. It's kind of like illegal, but they did have a shelf of ARCs, which I was very surprised because I also saw Book of Night by Holly Black on there, which was crazy, and I was almost tempted to snatch it up, but I was like, you know what? I have it on pre-order, and the actual like physical copy is so much prettier than the ARC. It's like gold foil. Anyways, it was really cheap. It was like $3, but decided to wait on that. But I did find an ARC of How High We Go in the Dark, a novel by Sequoia Nagamatsu. This book has been compared to Station 11 or Emily St. John Mandel, so I hope this isn't boring because it's got a lot of hype surrounding it. But basically it's just a spellbinding debut that follows a cast of intricately linked characters over hundreds of years as humanity struggles to rebuild itself in the aftermath of a climate plague, a daring and deeply heartfelt work of mind-bending imagination for a singular new voice. So this is a debut, which also had me intrigued. I really just love giving debut authors a shot. And this is fairly short. I mean, it's less than 300 pages. If you guys have read this one, let me know if you liked it. I basically just snatched it up because it's new and it was on my new anticipated like releases list. So we'll see how it goes. I was very impressed that they had a lot of 2021 titles for like a third of the price in hardback, so I did snatch up 2 hardback thrillers that I'm very stoked for. The first one being For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. I read My Lovely Wife, and while I did predict the ending, I actually really enjoyed the writing and just the ride on the way to the ending, and also the humor was just really good. So I've been wanting to give her another shot, especially because this one is more dark academia vibes. It's set at a prestigious private school, complete with interfering parents, overreacher students, and one teacher who just wants to teach them all a lesson. From what very little I remember, I think there's a bunch of deaths or murders that happen on campus, and I'm assuming this teacher is responsible, so I don't know where this is gonna go. But I'm especially interested to see how this ends because it just sounds really crazy. Like a teacher coming after his students and trying to teach them a lesson just sounds really brutal, so I don't know what to expect from this, but I'm definitely excited to find out. And then I also was super excited to find The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell. Lisa Jewell and I have kind of like this love-hate relationship, as weird as that sounds. I really love the way she portrays characters in her character development, but on the other hand, her plots almost always fall flat for me. So I feel like from here on out, I expect it to be more character driven, so I feel like I know what I'm getting into with this one. The only thing I know about this one is there's a couple that disappears and there's also an engagement ring involved, so that goes to show how little I know about this, but you guys know me well enough to know that I don't like to be spoiled for thrillers. Don't really like to read the synopsis. If I'm familiar enough with the author, I will pick up the book, and I love this cover. It just gives me like those scary, deep water vibes and just like the quiet stillness of, oh, I don't know, it just kind of creeps me out. Just happy to add another Lisa Jewell to my shelf when I'm in the mood for one. The next book was only $2, and can I just say, this cover basically is what sold me on this one. I actually have seen this around quite a bit on Goodreads, and I think it is on my TBR, but this is actually historical fiction, which you guys know I don't read a ton. So basically what sold me on this one is this has to do with an actual artist that I don't know if she basically replicates paintings for a living, like she's kind of like a con artist. I don't really know exactly, but the fact that I was a graphic designer or am a graphic designer, I went to school for art. This also has nothing to do with a war. It does take place during 1968 in England. I get sick and tired of reading about World War I, World War II, the Great War, whatever, all of the wars. I just want like a historical setting that has nothing to do with a war, or the plot has nothing to do with the war. So this just felt like a very unique historical fiction, and I just loved the cover, and for $2 I was like, you know what, why not, we're gonna risk it. The next book I decided to pick up, which I was honestly debating on picking this one up because I own the first one but I've not read the first one. It's called Paper and Fire: The Great Library by Rachel Kane. So the first one is actually called Ink and Bone, and I've had this on my shelf for so long. Even though they're young adult books, they just sound like they would be very adult, and I love the spines together. I love how they actually look like to old books, and I just want to own all of these because I think they're super pretty. But I'm just going to read a little bit of the inside of the first one because I don't want to spoil myself for the second one. In an exhilarating new series, Rachel Kane recreates history, creating a dangerous world where the Great Library of Alexandria has survived the test of time. Jess Brightwell believes in the value of the library, but the majority of his knowledge comes from illegal books obtained by his family who are involved in the thriving black market. Jess has been sent to be his family's spy, but his loyalties are tested in the final months of his training to enter the library service. When his friend inadvertently commits heresy by creating a device that could change the world, Jess discovers that those who control the Great Library believe knowledge is more valuable than any human life, and soon both heretics and books will burn. It just sounds so good, mainly because I love when you have a book within books. Like the content or the setting is a library or has to do with books, and obviously I haven't read this one, like I said, but I'm really glad that I have the second one now, because if I like the first one enough, I'll be able to dive right into the second one. So I definitely feel like I found a pretty good stack here, especially because it was only $28, especially for a total of 11 books for $28. That's unheard of. I was really expecting to find more mystery thrillers that were a little bit cheaper, but considering these books or the thrillers I got came out just last year, I feel like $7 is kind of unbeatable. So I feel like I definitely had a very successful year. I wish that the library would do these more open to the public, because you can be like a friend and get a membership, and they actually have these sales monthly, but I feel like my shelves would be screaming if I decided to do that. So it's just something that I look forward to every year. You can bring someone with you, and it's just a really fun time. And I'm so excited to add these to my collection. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on this little book shopping haul vlog. I love doing book shopping videos. I think they're so much fun. I just love taking you guys with me. It feels like I'm actually hanging out with you when we go shopping together, and then you guys can see what awesome books I found. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it finds you well wherever you are. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I love you, and I will see you in my next video.